Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about the heart of the home, the kitchen. We all see those beautiful kitchens online, but it can be hard to know what works best for real life. To help us understand this better, I have a very special guest. She is an expert and the founder of Alana Busse Construction. She knows exactly how to make a kitchen beautiful and comfortable. Alana, thank you so much for being here with me today. How is everything?
Good, and you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. I have some questions prepared because I know many people, including myself, want to make the right choices for their homes. I want to start with a section I call the reality check. We see a lot of inspiration online using cabinets from big box stores, and they look lovely in the photos. But could you share your honest perspective? How do those materials hold up after a few years of daily family use?
There's many different ways cabinets are constructed. So if you're going to buy something from one of those off-the-shelf kind of big box stores, those cabinets tend to be limiting on the options you can pick on the outside. And then on the inside, they might not be built as strong or to last as long as something else. So more of a custom cabinet. So it depends on if you're looking for something to make your house look pretty and you're going to redo it in maybe the next 3 to 5 years, or are you looking for something that's going to last you, 10 plus years and you're staying in the house forever, or you want just a little bit better quality because you don't want to have to go through a remodel again in a few years?
That is very good to know. It helps to think about the long term. Speaking of the look, sometimes two white kitchens can appear very similar in photos, but in real life, one feels very high end and the other feels a bit more budget friendly. What is the small detail that usually makes that difference? Is it the spacing or maybe the handles?
A lot of it's just all of the little details. So it's for everything from making sure the layout is proper and functional, adding more drawers and rollouts, having a certain door style. So maybe it's not just a shaker door, but it has a little eased off edge, doing a frameless versus maybe a framed cabinet. And then it's going to be the color too. Is it just a very stark white, almost when you buy paint before you have it tinted, or is it going to be a little warmer or cooler? And making sure all the other elements work well with it. So, like the countertops and the backsplash and the flooring and all of those kind of things, and how everything's going to work together can really make it look a more elevated and higher end, or a little bit more on the budget friendly side.
Oh, I see. Those small details really do matter. Okay, and one last question on cabinets. We know trends change often. Is there a specific color or style that is very popular right now but might feel a little outdated in a few years? What would you suggest we be careful with?
So the things to be careful with when you're doing your kitchen is to not maybe follow all the trends that you see, because the trends are going to come and go, but really going what goes with the style of the house. So if you have more of a Tuscan style home, you're probably not going to want to put acrylic modern doors into the home, versus if you do have a really modern home, you may want to do the acrylic doors. Or if your home is more country, maybe more wood finishes or different elements. So I think it's not necessarily hopping on every single trend that's out there, but really doing what works in your specific space. So it flows with the rest of your home is really the way that make it a little more timeless, versus just throwing in the white shaker kitchen when maybe the white shaker kitchen doesn't match everything else you have going on in your project.
Yeah, yeah, excellent advice. And timeless is the best,
Mhm.
at least according to my opinion. Okay, and let's move on to organization. Most of us have that one drawer in the kitchen that catches everything:
Mm.
cords, batteries, and small items. If you could design one built in feature to help us organize that drawer better, what would it be?
Well, I think it's figuring out, what exactly is in your catch-all drawer. Should it all be together or should it start being divided up? And then maybe making sure you have as many drawers as you need. So maybe right now you have one really big, deep drawer and everything goes into when you should really have like 4 or 5 shallow drawers. So maybe it's like all of your cords are in one, your backup batteries are in another. We could even do outlets in the back of some of the cabinets so that you could charge some of your items so that it's not all one big mosh podge of stuff. And then we can also start adding different dividers or leaving room for you to put different items that can divide up the things. But it's really just trying to make it so you don't have this bottomless pit of a junk drawer and making it so you have a little bit more shallow space so you can actually get to the items and it's just not a catch all.
Absolutely, absolutely. It would make life so much more organized. Okay, and now let's talk about the corner cabinet. For a long time, the Lazy Susan, the spinning shelf, was the standard solution, but sometimes items can slip off the back or it can be tricky to use. Is there a more modern or clever invention for that corner space that you recommend?
So there's a lot of different options now for corner spaces. You can stick with your Lazy Susan, but we have upgraded Lazy Susans. So they don't have the pole in the middle. They're on fixed shelves. You don't have to worry about it being balanced properly or having maybe something really heavy on one side and maybe Tupperware or even nothing on the other. And by having the fixed shelf, stuff isn't going to fall down and jam it. The old ones used to jam, and then you couldn't close the door or shut the door and get into there. Typically, you're not going to have the door also where it rotates with the Lazy Susan. You'd have a separate door to open to help with those items. So you can go with kind of an updated Lazy Susan, or you can do a metal basket system that pulls out into a corner. So you'd have like 2 baskets and they're mounted onto your door. And when you pull that door, a next set of metal baskets is going to kind of pull forward so you can get to the stuff in the back. And then there's also little things that kind of swing out. So there's little mechanisms that swing out and they almost look like a Mr. Peanut, and you pull them out and they're going to get also into the back of the area. So there's lots of different options if you want to stick still with your traditional Lazy Susan, but kind of that very upgraded version, or you want to go with something maybe a little bit that's newer on the market.
Oh, got it, got it. And I didn't know that. And which one is more convenient, you think? Like combination of all of those, or do you have one favorite?
We definitely kind of lean towards the basket system or the upgraded Lazy Susan are probably our number one and number twos. And it also depends on the kitchen layout because some of them are going to go into more of a blind corner cabinet style, and then the Lazy Susan is more of a corner cabinet. So it depends on your layout to which one's going to work and how that's going to affect the other cabinets. So there's not one that's specifically perfect for maybe you versus me, and then it depends how many corners you have. It could be that you need the left corner needs to have the basket system, but the upgraded Lazy Susan is better on the right. So there's not a one fits all, but we typically kind of go over what we think's best and go through the pros and cons with our clients to figure it out.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you so much. And it sounds really convenient. About the next question. Yeah, what about the appliance garage? Many people love clean counters, but they also use the toaster or coffee maker every day. Do you find the appliance garage is practical for daily use, or is it better to keep things open?
It depends on what you're using, how often you're using, and how much counter space, because the appliance garage still typically has to sit onto the counter and be deep enough to handle all those items. So it's going to depend on the layout to which one's going to be best. And when we say appliance garage, the old school ones used to have the tambored doors, kind of looking like garage doors, and you'd pull them up, and they were wood, and you had to wax the tracks every so often. And they definitely didn't open and close as nicely as now we have lift up doors and tilt up doors and all of that. So if you have the space and we can get you in something with a lift up or tilt up and we can put your items away, that's best. But it just depends. You also don't want a pretty cabinet run and just have this weird thing sitting on the counter maybe halfway through it. So it's got to make sense with the design and the layout and what you're using. You can't use the appliance in the appliance garage. You still have to pull it forward and pull it out. And some things like a toaster or something, you might have to wait for it to cool down before you even put it back away. So is that still as functional for you as something else?
Okay, got it. And how do these work in bigger families? Let's say a couple, just a couple versus bigger families.
So I would say it's easier when it's just a couple to train. I wouldn't say train, but to learn to pull the item out, use the item, wait for it to cool down or clean or whatever needs to happen, put it back and close it. If you have a bunch of kids or teenagers or something, the odds that the toaster is going to come out, be used, and be put back probably isn't going to be as good. So, is it still going to accomplish that, or are you now going to have counter space taken up by the appliance garage and the appliance is going to be next to it being used or in front of it? And now you've actually doubled the amount of counter space being used versus helping with that. So, it's going to depend on the couple and the family and how long they plan on staying in the house, all of that kind of situation to if it's going to work for them or maybe it's not the best solution.
That makes sense. It really depends on how we use our kitchen. And if there's less people at house, of course, it's easier to go with that option.
Mhm.
Okay, let's talk about the budget. First, let's talk about marble. It's so beautiful, but we know it can be delicate. If a family has young children or enjoys cooking with ingredients like red wine or turmeric, is real marble a safe choice or is it better to look for something else?
So it depends really on the client. You need to, if it's real marble or any sort of natural stone, you do have to keep it sealed. So it comes down to, are you the people that are going to remember to seal it? And depending on how often you clean it, every time you clean it, you're taking a little bit of the sealer off. So if you're constantly cleaning your kitchen 2, 3 times a day, you could have to seal it every 6 months. Then there's other clients that aren't really using their kitchen very much or aren't really like cleaning the countertops that often, and they could maybe go a couple years before they have to seal it. So if you keep it sealed, it should be okay. There's also products like Tough Skin, and there's other products we can apply on top of the countertops, and that will make it a barrier so that it makes it a lot more durable. So if you did have younger kids, you didn't want to have to seal it, you didn't want to have to deal with it as much. So there are products we can do on top of your marble so that you can still have your marble and you don't have all the maintenance as everything else. And then you can also jump to other products that are similar look as marble but aren't marble. So we are doing a lot of quartzites. They're natural, they're a lot harder. They come out of the mountain, very durable. You still do have to seal them every so often, but they are going to be a lot more durable and a harder product. And they come in a lot of light colors that are similar to marbles. Dolomites are a little between kind of a marble and a quartzite, so it gives you a little bit better durability than marble, but not taking you to full kind of quartzite durability. And then you can always go to a quartz countertop. So you could use something like a Caesar stone, which will give you the marble look and has very limited maintenance on the product. So it depends on what you're comfortable as a client doing to your countertops and what kind of upkeep you want to which is going to be your best option.
Oh, got it, got it. And which one is more popular right now or like preferred, let's say?
We are seeing a lot of quartzite and quartz. It's probably 45% quartzite, 45% quartz, and then 10% miscellaneous stuff, which would include marbles and some other products. But those are definitely our one and two is the quartz and the quartzites.
Oh, got it. And what is the main reason, do you think? Is it budget or low maintenance? What is the motivation over there?
First of all, I think everyone loves the colors and the variation and the differentness that you can get out of those products. And then it's going to be the maintenance level. So, not having as much maintenance as their existing kitchen countertops. So, I think that's what's kind of the driving factor right now is we don't want a lot of maintenance on our products and we want to make sure they are going to be durable and lasting and you're not going to have to change them in 5 years or 10 years.
Okay, got it. And which one of those are more budget friendly?
It depends on what you're looking at. So there are definitely quartzites that cost less, and there's definitely quartz that costs less. So there's all sorts of different manufacturers. So there's not exactly a 1-to-1 ratio. Also, they come in different sizes. So if you maybe need two sizes in quartz, because quartz is a manufactured product, and so they only go up so big. But maybe in quartzite, we can find you an oversized slab and you only need one. And so maybe the quartzite actually per square foot is costing you more, but since you don't have to buy as much of the product, could cost you less in the end. A lot of times we'll have clients that select a quartz, then we'll go to a slab yard. And if they don't see anything they like better, we'll stick with the quartz. And if not, then we will switch to the quartzite that they find at the slab yards.
Got it. Thank you. About the next question, I have one debate to ask you about the backsplash. There is the standard 4-inch backsplash, and then there is the full height tile. Do you think the standard 4-inch backsplash still works today, or does the full tile give a better feel to the room?
Yeah. So typically a 4-inch backsplash is going to be more for a kitchen application. When you're going, or not a kitchen, I should say, typically a 4-inch backsplash is going to be for a bathroom application. When you go into your kitchen, sometimes we'll be doing maybe an 8-inch backsplash, but almost every time we're going to do a full height backsplash. So it's going to go from the counter to the bottom of your upper cabinets. Typically that's going to be about 18 inches, and that can be tile or slab, but I will say probably 95 or higher percent is going to be that full height backsplash in kitchens.
Got it. Got it. Okay, and I have one final question to close our session. Imagine a homeowner has a little extra room in their budget, let's say $10,000 to $15,000. They can only upgrade one thing, the cabinets, meaning the structure, or the countertops. Which one do you think adds more value to the home in the long run?
Well, it's going to depend on if you plan on staying in the home forever and you're going to live there. I would spend the extra money on adding more organizational items into your cabinets. That you will see a return on daily use enjoyment for yourself. If you're looking for strictly resale value, it's going to be the countertops backsplash kind of thing because that's what people see. People aren't going to open your cabinets when your home is for sale. So if you do plan on staying there, then I would do the guts of the cabinets as my upgrade. If you plan on selling in 5 to 10 years, then you'd want to do something that you just see because that's where you're going to get more of your return on investment.
Oh, got it, got it. And do you have some extra information that you can share with us? It can be about countertops, it can be about cabinets, maybe some tips for bigger families.
The biggest tip for everyone is I think everyone's always wondering how much to budget for your project and how much to set aside for your kitchen. And the average, one of our cabinet companies did a little poll around the United States and figured out the average kitchen cost is about 5 to 10% of your home's value. So if you're looking at doing your kitchen and you're wanting to save up and you're trying to figure out how much you should set aside, if you look at that 5 to 10% for a nicer kitchen that you're going to want to stay and live there for a while. And of course, you can do it for less, especially if you're looking to just flip the home or not be there as long. But that 5% is a good amount for people to like maybe start setting aside and thinking about their remodel. And just so then they don't get sticker shock when they start going through the process with whoever they choose.
Absolutely. That is a very powerful answer. Alana, thank you again for sharing your knowledge with us. You made these decisions feel much easier to understand. For everyone watching or listening, if you want to learn more about Alana and her incredible work, or if you are ready to start your own project, please visit the Alana Busse Construction website. We have put the link for you in the description below. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thank you.